Throughout human history, in every part of the world, people have worshipped different gods and goddesses. Deities such as Mithras, Krishna, Zeus, Horus, Tara, Isis, Allah, and Jesus, just to name a few, among thousands of deities coming from Celtic, African, Hawaiian, Native American, ancient Egyptian religion, and many others. This is one of the reasons I cannot find it logical to say that one deity is real and all others are false, among the thousands or millions that are worshipped or have been worshipped. There are horrible things going on in this world all the time. Poverty, disease, rape, murder, and even natural disasters that take people's lives and homes. The natural disasters that come from the nature that God created. Why would God allow any of these things to happen if He's so merciful and loving? Some theists will argue that life is a test. But why give us this life and test us in it if He already knows the outcome, considering God is supposed to know any and everything before it even happens? What's the point? It's as if God is setting us up for failure, since obviously not everyone chooses, quote unquote, the true religion or the right path. Now I'll read you something I once asked someone regarding free will, among a few other things. How can you tell the difference between a world with God and a world without God? I can't really tell because in most religions, mainly Christianity and Islam, God does not interfere with free will. Therefore, anything that you do in your life has been done by your own free will and not by God. Anything anyone else ever does to you is done by their own free will and not by God. Whenever a natural disaster comes along and kills people, God is not to blame. A lot of theists tend to say, stop blaming God for everything. But what exactly does God do? He makes you feel good spiritually. He gives you hope and happiness and peace in life. I felt the same way, but after looking outside of myself, I realized that this world is exactly the way it would be whether or not a deity exists. If God does not interfere in free will, then pretty much any and everything we do in our lives is not controlled by God. Doesn't that mean God really doesn't control anything at all? There are people starving to death, children being raped, people losing their homes to natural disasters, like I mentioned before, the nature that God created. True people do try to stop these things in the world, but when has God ever tried to stop these things? I've never seen the work of God helping out people, only people themselves.